What is the best tool to keep your Waterstones flat? A diamond plate. What is the best diamond plate to keep your Waterstones flat? An Atoma. What is the best Atoma diamond plate to keep your Waterstones flat? Probably a 400. If you get anything out of this video, that's probably all it needs to be, but I'm about to go into more detail on the Atomas now. Over the years, JTA has sold a number of diamond plates by different manufacturers in different grits. We have had many interesting experiences over the years where different plates in different shipments and different batches have come to us not as flat as they need to be. That can cause very big problems for us. So we really enjoy dealing with Atoma diamond plates because they have proven to be very, very flat and very, very good at what they do. There are a few really nice things about the Atoma diamond plates. They come in 4 different grits. They start at the coarsest at a 140, then go a 400, a 600 and a 1200. For general flattening, Christian and I have a very long ongoing discussion on this subject, but I prefer the 400 grit. As you go finer in this range, you get a finer finish on your Waterstones. As you go coarser in this range, you get a much longer life in your plate. We have 140 grit plates that have been hanging around the shop for a very long time and are still performing very, very well at the cost of leaving a more heavily scratched surface even in your fine grit Waterstones. 600 grit I think is also probably a very doable grit. You will get very nice finish on your Waterstones, but you'll have less life in your plate than if you go for a 400. I think this is where the compromise is between a fine finish in the stone and long life. However, you can be the judge of that. One thing I will say is that we've put out the 1200 grit to flatten Waterstones in one of our classes, and we were able to kill it in 1 day. It was a very hard day, but it is not my first recommendation for flattening Waterstones unless you have very, very expensive fine grit synthetic or perhaps even natural Waterstones. It might be worth playing around with. However, I generally use a 400. One of the really nice things about the Atoma diamond plates is that they are a two-piece construction. They come as a substrate of aluminium about 10 millimeters thick, which is an extrusion. It has been lapped flat on one side by a machine, and to this at the factory, a diamond sheet is then fitted. That diamond sheet is a millimeter of aluminium with the diamonds on the surface. What I really like about this is that these 2 pieces of aluminium can be separated. When your diamond plate reaches the end of its life, and I'm yet to find a diamond plate that does not have an end to its life, these can be run under hot water. A butter knife or something similar can be pushed down the middle, and this will peel off the substrate. You then clean up the substrate, metho or something like that, get it all smooth, make sure there's no grit anywhere, and you can then buy a replacement sheet to put on that substrate. So this is the replacement diamond sheet, which is identical to the sheet that would originally come on top of the plate. These come in 140, 400, 600, 1200 grit, and it is a really good way of keeping your diamond plate fresh, aggressive, and not losing any grit at a very reasonable price point. However, you can then game the system a bit. So what we've done is we have sourced float glass in exactly the same size as the Atoma diamond plates. If you trust glass more than you trust aluminium, you can then stick a sheet to that. And what we've actually done is we've stuck a sheet to that, and we've also stuck 2 sheets to that. When you're dealing with glass, you have 2 flat sides to your piece of glass, and so you can trust two of those surfaces to reference your Waterstones flat. We also get our steel lapping plates machined here in Sydney, and we've specified them to be the same size as the Atoma sheets. So if you would like a machine surface to be your flat reference, you can then take a replacement Atoma sheet and stick it on one of our steel lapping plates. We originally came up with this because we had a customer who wanted to be able to clamp these diamond sheets, a diamond plate in a metalworking vise on top of his bench and do some fairly specific sharpening on top of those. For mine, these are our lapping plates that have been wandering around the shop for a huge amount of time. This is a 400, this is a 140, this is a 400, and this is a piece of glass with 140 on one side and 400 on the other. This is dead handy. You can get something flat really quick and then refine the scratches and away you go. So I really quite like using that. In terms of technique in flattening Waterstones, there's not a huge amount to it. We need to be sure that our Waterstone is nice and damp, and we can take our Atoma, reference it flat on the top, circles, back and forth, circles. If you want to be super aggressive, across the surface diagonally and maybe back across the surface diagonally, circles, back and forth, and we're back to flat. Super simple, super fast, and we can get back to sharpening really quickly. I hope that's helpful. Enjoy your sharpening.